What's going on, everyone? Justin here from the Loaf. We got the episode 2, and we got the boys in the house tonight. We got Tizzle, aka Matt, and we also got Park, aka, well, actually his name is Parker, but yeah, we'll go with that. We're going to be talking about week 1 of the NFL and a bunch of other good stuff today. Matt is our guru of betting here, so he'll give us some insight on what he can, and go check out his thing called Cheddar Printers over. I think you can find it on Twitter, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, Twitter.
Cool.
You can find it over there.
Yeah, and you can head over to their Discord, and they got some premium features and free features. So go check it out, and go check out our other sponsor, Dusk Auto Supply, where you can get the best car cleaning products on the market, and it's a family-owned company. Enough of the plugs. All right, so back on to the week 1 of the NFL. What'd you guys think about that?
My thoughts is rookie QBs looked good for the most part, minus Caleb Williams. Didn't look great. The juggernauts from last year looked good. I heard your Bills looked slow at the beginning, but kind of picked it up.
Dude, Allen's a wall. Just saying.
From all the highlights and stuff I saw, I think it's the mediocre teams. I think there's some that might surprise us. I think there's some that might surprise us at the end of the year.
Yeah,
from what I saw.
I don't know. I think there ain't no saving the Panthers, homie. I don't know.
No,
about them,
they're the only ones that can't get it done. But I think,
that's actually scary how bad they are, dude. What's his name? Young, right? That's their quarterback.
I didn't
has
watch
no
that
vision,
one.
dude.
Yeah, no, I didn't watch that game, but I saw highlights and it was not good.
I don't know if you call those highlights or not, but what'd you think? What'd you think,
of
Tizzle, of week 1, Tizzle?
Yeah, being a Sunday ticket owner, I caught some glimpses of that Saints-Panthers game, and I'll just say that I turned it off pretty quickly. That was pretty much over when it started. But
yeah,
a couple takeaways from me. The biggest one was from Friday night. Jordan Love going down with an injury. While it wasn't a season-ending injury, I do think that it's severe enough that it should be a pretty big impact to the NFC North division, as Green Bay and Detroit are kind of the two leaders of the race for that division. But overall, the division itself played really well. The Vikings played really good. Whether it was against the Giants, they still took care of business. And then the Bears on offense, kind of like Park mentioned, is Caleb Williams has kind of started off slow, but their defense is just insane. So they're going to win some games. So I'll be interested to see kind of how that injury affects the rest of the division race.
Mm-hmm.
And then something else that I really love to see was Tampa Bay and Baker Mayfield just dominated. I think Baker had 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. He went nuts, dude.
He looked great, and not to get too far ahead, but they do have a rematch game with Detroit this week, and I'm really going to be excited to watch that game.
Should be interesting. The Browns are definitely crying right now over Baker.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
They sold to Watson. So
Watson, yeah. They definitely let a good one go. Kind of off what Matt just said. Yeah, that Buccaneers Washington game was interesting. You have Baker who signed a big contract with Tampa Bay, and then you have the rookie on the other side that looked good, but somehow, I told my wife, I'm like, his helmet's not strapped, and he lost it more than once, and you could see it. Even when he's running it wobbles on his face. It's like, that's a concussion waiting to happen as a young guy, and he's not built like Baker, and he puts his head down like Josh Allen, but you got to keep that helmet strapped as tight as possible, because
he's gonna be wearing that mustard cap pretty soon.
Exactly. Like, you need to. It's week 1. You don't want to be taking yourself out right away.
Speaking of that, the mushroom cap thing, right? There was like what 2 or 3 players in the NFL that wore mushroom caps in week 1.
I believe so. Yeah.
Are they gonna make them wear those if they get a concussion, or there's like no like it's on you?
I think it's by preference, like if you want to or not.
Interesting.
Personal preference. They call those a guardian cap.
Guardian cap. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The term for
Okay.
that.
Did
But
I
that's
just make up
all
mushroom cap, or has
Yeah.
no one ever called it mushroom cap?
'Cause they wear them in training camp. That's where it started, and then I guess
Yeah.
they like, all right, we'll allow them to wear it if they think it gives them extra protection. Even though, I mean, when I was in high school, our helmets were made to prevent concussions. In the NFL, the technology is even better, but I guess if they feel comfortable with an extra protection with Guardian cap, let them do it. It looks weird, but I mean, if they feel safe, we want them to feel safe,
Well, you know what I always find weird is those little collars they use. You guys know how
Yeah.
those work? It's pretty cool. It
I
keeps more
remember
blood.
was it someone on Dallas that wore it, and they like made a story about it.
Dude, there's actually a lot of players that wear them now. So basically, all it does is it push pressure on your two what's the 2 main arteries? What's your what's it called? The big artery going up your neck. Anyways,
I'm better than that.
basically it puts pressure on that, so more blood stays in your brain, therefore giving a blood padding in your head. That is like crazy shit right there, man. I
Yeah.
mean, like that's like beyond thinking. Whoever thought of that is
Right.
is pretty crazy. But you know who doesn't need none of that? Josh Allen, baby. Josh Allen, man's a wall. Dude,
I saw one brief highlight from that game, but yeah, he
was it the
looked
highlight
good.
of him jumping in the air like a
Yeah.
majestic eagle and just smacking the living crap out of the defensive end?
Yeah,
into
that's
the end
exactly
zone?
what I saw. Yeah.
Yeah,
It was great.
he for whatever reason he got voted the most overrated player in the NFL by his peers, and
What?
I've always been a big Josh Allen fan, and he
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of put the naysayers to bed after that. He had 4 touchdowns, 2 in the air, 2 on the ground.
Yeah.
He was pretty much, all Buffalo after.
Yeah.
There was a lot of questions with them because they lost a lot of pieces on defense, and then most notably Stephon Diggs is now in Houston. So I think he kind of put the naysayers down for a little bit.
Did Von Miller retire?
No, he played.
Oh, he did. Okay, I was like, I haven't heard his name in so long. Oh yeah, I see him. Okay, he had a sack. Okay,
Yeah.
I just didn't see him on there. I was watching Red Zone mostly. But yeah, it looks like Allen did 232 yards, but 4 touchdowns. That's pretty insane. He's definitely. I was afraid that he was going to come back this season and just be like not himself. I feel like there's a lot of pressure for him to do good this season. So I'm glad he kind of came out. But I was surprised about the Cardinals. The Cardinals came out and played, dude. They scored 28 points. That's not that bad.
See, I said I mainly watched the Vikings game because I was trying to get to catch the Bills game. But from a fantasy standpoint, it looked like they just gave the ball to James Conner and didn't throw it a lot. Marvin Harrison Jr., who's their rookie, one of their rookie wide receivers, and it sounds like there's from Sunday there's a few other teams that had this similar situation. It's like you have a rookie receiver, you have these top guys, and you don't throw them the ball. Including the Lions, they shoved that ball down the Rams' throats in the run game and didn't even. I think Amon-Ra had maybe 2 catches. So things are changing now, where they're handing the ball off more, and James Conner's a staple in Arizona with Kyler. So
yeah, like
it'll be interesting.
What was it? Over 73 yards, I think he did. Connor did. He had 16 carries and 3 receptions, so not too bad. But on his receptions, man, 11 yards average. That's pretty good.
As a James Conner fantasy owner, I was very pleased with that performance.
That's like, I'm a Marvin Harrison fantasy owner, so I was not happy because I was like, where did he go? What happened?
That's insane. Speaking of rookies, isn't the guy on the Niners? He's a rookie as well, right? The running back that came in, or maybe I'm just
George Mason for Georgia Tech. Yep.
Has he been?
He's been there a few years, I think.
Yeah, I think this is his 3rd year.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Because he was around a little bit I remember him a lot from last year, but when you have Christian McCaffrey, you're not taking him off the field very much. So
Right.
it'll be kind of interesting to see how they kind of adjust to that moving
take
forward.
it because now after seeing the Lions what they did, and then watching what the Niners did with George Mason, with the way Shanahan's brain works, they could pull page out of Dan Campbell's playbook and go 2 running back set.
Yeah.
You can use it both in different ways, and that makes that Niners offense even scarier than it is now.
I mean, if they use Mason to drive down the field and then use McCaffrey just to punch it through, I mean, I feel like McCaffrey is good even outside the red zone. Obviously, we know he's good outside the red zone, but if you use Mason majority of the field, get him right outside that red zone or red zone for McCaffrey, dude, that's like a touchdown, like automatic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It'll be good for them because, as we all know, McCaffrey's health has kind of been his only plague in his career.
Mm-hmm.
Though they won't have to rely as much on him. He's one, in my opinion, the best player in the NFL. So you're gonna use him, but just to kind of keep him fresh for, they look like another team ready to make a Super Bowl run. So they're gonna need him down the stretch. So keeping him healthy is gonna be really important.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure there was some weird odds going on, right? Too in the sports betting world.
Yeah. So. I don't necessarily want to bash a sports book, but I heard a rumor that Bet365 was accepting Jordan Mason bets for his over yards, which I was lucky enough to get it at over 11.5. I kind of saw the news and I'm like, this isn't trending well.
Mm-hmm.
So what Bet365 actually did was, after you submitted a ticket, it's supposed to be set and final. Well, when I don't remember the odds that people were getting. I think it was, minus 115 over 11 and a half yards. Well, after McCaffrey was announced, they went and they changed the tickets to, some people were saying that it was minus 5,000 for over 11 and a half yards. It's like, I don't know how they can get away with that. But,
so they changed this mid-game, or they changed it? When did they actually make the change?
So I didn't, this wasn't something I dealt with myself because, no free plugs, but I'm a big DraftKings guy. But they that's what I heard. That's what I heard all over the news today, just kind of keeping tabs with everything, that a lot of people weren't too happy with that.
Yeah, that is kind of crazy. I don't know, was Bet365 the only one that was really pushing the Mason bets, or was pretty much everybody on board with it?
Everybody had them up for the most part. And then once the news came out that McCaffrey wasn't playing, all the books shut everything down. You could take action on the spread, money line, over under, but there was no player props until I think that news came out maybe an hour before the game, and they quickly took that off of the books and then adjusted the lines.
So question, why did they go to Jordan Mason? Is he an actual like third string? He would be like a third string.
Yeah, so I believe he's technically would be their third string running back.
Right.
Not now, because they have Elijah Mitchell, who has been pretty solid.
Oh, that's right. I forgot he was on the Niners.
He's on I think he's on that 4-week IR, where you got to miss 4 games.
The player unplayable or whatever.
Yeah. So I think
unable
Elijah
to perform.
Mitchell.
Sorry.
Yeah, exactly. I think Elijah Mitchell would have been their number 2, but Jordan Mason kind of filled that role.
I mean, he did it well. I'm not going to complain there, right? I mean, I'm also a Niners fan, and it was exciting to see someone else like do well on the running game. You know what I mean? We all know McCaffrey could do it. We all know Debo can do what he can do. But to see someone that's not really like a huge staple Like he put down 147 yards, and I feel like he could have probably done a little bit more. But I think I feel like they tailored him off a little bit towards the end, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, they kind of
as they
did
didn't need
because I
to.
mean they were up by so much, so they kind of didn't need to force feed him the ball. But
Right.
yeah, no, it's as you both know, I'm a Brock Purdy fan since he was at Iowa State. So watching him have another running back to hand the ball off to and have confidence in, because that was the question with the Niners is they have a running back to give the ball to and not rely on Purdy to throw the ball. It's exciting to watch that then have somebody else back there now.
I'll give Purdy some props, dude. I know everyone says he's a check down king. All right. But I mean, there was a ton. There was a ton of check downs. But he was throwing dimes, dude.
He was.
threw a lot of great passes over
I
the
watched
top
him
of
do it in
defenders.
college for 4 years, and when I knew he was in that Shanahan offense, I was like, he's gonna make a name for himself. People still underestimate his ability.
Speaking of underestimating ability, Aaron Rodgers came back only on 167 yards, but the touchdown that he threw on the free play, I'm not really sure what the flag was. Dude, that man threw that off his back foot and just zinged it down the middle of the field.
I'm going to tell you this right now. Nice as a Vikings fan, and I've been a Viking since I was a little kid. It was nice to see him get a free play and not be on the Packers because I suffered from it so many times that when he does that hard count, he gets a free play every damn time and he can just sling it down the field and gets a touchdown, a first down or whatever. But yeah, it's that man is a genius at that. And their offense is good. I think they still got some things to work through. I think he missed one or two passes in the quarter that he should have had, or at least the receiver should have had. And he definitely looked frustrated, but I think as a Vikings fan, it's nice to see him with another team and be successful versus being successful in the same division. But we'll see. I heard their schedule's not great. The Vikings do play them in week 5, so it'll be an interesting homecoming for him to. Oh, actually, we play at home. Yeah, we play the Jets at home. So I think he'll have a nice homecoming, at least in Minnesota, when he comes on a different team versus booing him. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah. One thing too is Tyrod Taylor was in there for a little bit, right? And he looked okay, right? He wasn't anything crazy.
Yeah.
But I swear, every time I see him on the field, I am just waiting for this man to get whacked by someone.
Yes,
I don't know why.
The man who was a backup and then gets injured, 5 plays later or whatever. Yeah,
he puts himself out there sometimes to just get destroyed, standing straight up, like throwing the ball or even trying to like get away, but he just stands so straight up. I feel like a linebacker is always trying to like line him up.
Yeah, him and Jacoby Brissett just bounce around teams and they get injured when they come in to play backup.
Right. That's just absolutely insane.
I'll tell you what, though. I bet you the New York Giants wish they still had Tyrod Taylor.
Oh, for sure.
Oh my.
Okay, should we get into that? You want me to discuss?
Yeah, dude.
Oh man. Okay. The Vikings, they look good. Now, are we going to win the Super Bowl this year? No. We have 3 very tough games. The Niners come into town this week. Then we have the Texans, Packers, and the Jets. We have 4 tough games. The Packers is up in the air, but watching those Giants, oh my goodness, were they bad. I heard it on the news. I've heard everyone say Danny Dimes, he didn't look comfortable. He looked scared. He looked nervous. He couldn't get in a rhythm. And you signed into a big deal. And when you're that uncomfortable in your own offense, that's a problem.
That man always looks scared. I don't care where he's at. He looks nervous. He looks like a deer in headlights, no matter what he's doing. It's just crazy.
Ever since Eli Manning left, that team it's never been the same. And when it comes to the 3 teams in New York, I think it goes Bills 1, Jets 2, and Giants are definitely 3rd. It's unfortunate, but that's just where we're going to be. Yeah, I mean, we won 28-6, and I'll give them that. I'm going to pull up the box score here. Sam Darnold, 19 for 24, 208 yards, 2 touchdowns, 1 interception. Not bad for your first go around with the offense. And then Danny Dimes, 22 for 42, 186, 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, and he was sacked 5 times. That's not good. that's just not good.
186 yards, bro. That is just insanely bad.
You know,
For someone who just got
208.
paid out, you know.
Right, yeah. And Darnold 208 is not super impressive, but 19 for 24. You know, I'll take the passing over the yards, and you know it only can get better from here. But with the 2 next games that the Vikings have, it's going to be a tough day at the office. I think our defense is very good. We added some players. Dallas Hunter just destroyed Daniel Jones on like his first sack of the game. You almost like bear hugged him and threw him to the ground, which is pretty cool to see. So I think if the offense struggles, I think the defense might. And Van Ginkel had an pick 6, which was nice to see, in that luscious blonde hair flowing in the wind. But it was good to see a revamped team on both sides of the ball. Added some pieces, we lost some people, so it'll be interesting year to see what happens with the Vikings. But I as a Vikings fan, you take it one game at a time, especially without JJ McCarthy. So.
Well, when you're facing the Giants, you keep your head pretty high. So.
Oh yeah, my head was high though. I'm like, I don't think we're gonna lose this game. But
what'd you think of Sam Darnold there, Tizzle?
Yeah, as I said before, I'm a Sunday ticket holder, so I was able to catch a good amount of that game, and I think he started off like 14 for 14.
Yeah, he looked good at the very, very beginning.
He kind of did everything that, I'm not going to say he's a backup quarterback, but he's kind of like a bridge guy in Minnesota is, I guess, the best way to put him.
No, you hit it right on the money.
He did kind of everything that you would want for a guy in his position. He didn't turn the ball over, got the ball to his receivers. He got Justin Jefferson into the end zone, which was, I know we all play fantasy football, and it was kind of like, do I want to draft Justin Jefferson this year? And I think he kind of showed that he still can be that.
He still can be there,
number one wide receiver.
Yeah,
it's still going to be Tyreek and Justin Jefferson. That you're going to put at the top of the wide receiver groups. But overall, they look good.
Is Oliver their tight end, starting tight end? Josh Oliver?
Yeah, because TJ Hawkinson.
He's still working on his. He's gonna still get an injury.
He tore his ACL at the.
No, Johnny Munt actually is the.
Really?
Oh no, you're right. Josh Oliver is the first string, and I think Munt is the second string.
Okay,
they both got exceptions in the game. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, their offense, like I said, it looks different, but I'm confident in Kevin O'Connell and Brian Flores to lead to some victories, and I think we'll get out of some tough games. We might not win, but we'll come close.
For sure.
But the next 2 games, I think, will be two big tests, at least for them, because
I'm kind of excited to watch the Lions a little bit this year too.
And like Matt was saying, the Packers and the Lions seem to be the top 2 in the division. Then I think that'll change. Before the year started, I was going to put the Vikings at 3. If we don't root for it, as a Vikings fan, you don't root for injuries, so you hope Jordan Love is okay. But if he's not, there's a chance that the Vikings can be second in the division. But time will tell on the scheduling and everything. But yeah, the Lions look good, and they look like a force to be reckoned with, like they were last year. And they definitely picked up where they left last year and didn't go backwards. That's for sure.
Yeah, that's very true. And Love being out, like we keep kind of going back to, that's what you get for playing on a soccer field in Brazil. I swear, dude, that field was like ice. I've never seen so much green on people's pants. It's almost like they painted the field green just so it looked better. But JJ Watt actually came out and said, this is common for international fields. I'm paraphrasing this. This is common for international fields to be like that because they're used to having light soccer players running on that field, sliding around. The fields just aren't set up to have the strength and the weight and all that from these football players that are in the NFL. And you could see it when they're, making big cuts and stuff. They were literally sliding like a slip and slide. I think one of the defensive ends, I don't know which team it was on, but he slipped like 4 times trying to get to the quarterback, and it was like insane to watch.
Yeah.
The guard didn't even have to do anything. He was just standing there, this guy just slipping in front of him. But it was pretty funny. But it's a shame because I'm pretty sure his injury came like in the last like 5 minutes or
It
something.
was a lot. It was basically their home run drive to, I think,
Right.
either tie it or take the lead. I think it was tie it. And yeah, it was just a simple scramble play. Went to go run to throw, and got tackled in the legs. And I mean the replay didn't look horrible, but the replay doesn't always tell everything. So it was they think it's the sprained MCL, so he'll be out for like 3 to 4 weeks. And then
Probably
I guess
keep him out for the longest. I mean, I could see him being out for 4 easily, but I feel like if he's not 100% coming back, they'll probably keep him out that 5th
And
week.
he also got a hefty payday, which kind of like people saying, I don't think he was worth all that money because third year with the team. I think you at least give him more time to develop. But I guess the Packers believed in him.
Well, I mean, you don't pay him and he sits or does whatever he wants to do. Then what do you do? They're kind of in a sticky situation. I don't even know who the Packers' backup is, to be honest with you.
Malik Willis.
Malik Willis, who was on the Titans.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Played at Liberty.
He was decent at Liberty, but it never really translated to the NFL. He's kind of more of a running style quarterback, so they're going to lean a lot more on Josh Jacobs. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
They got a lot of good weapons. They got a lot of good weapons, but it's going to be on Josh Jacobs' shoulders.
Which, speaking of, they didn't really run him that much until like the second half. There wasn't a whole lot of explosion in the first half, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
as far as I was watching.
I thought they were going to use him a little more, but
I mean, he's a workhorse, on the Raiders. I mean, he was like almost every other play. He's running somewhere, doing something.
Yeah,
I think. Let me look at his numbers.
But he's just a solid running back. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Yeah,
he's got great work ethic, and he's hard to take down, man. He's not the biggest dude out there, but he's not the smallest, and he's kind of he kind of reminds me of like a bowling ball. He's got very low gravity, and he's gonna run low, and that's hard for these 6'5", 6'6" guys to get down on top of him. You got to get low with them, and that's hard to do when he's bulldozing down the field. So
yeah. Jordan Love he would 17 for 34, 260, 2 TDs and an interception, and Josh Jacobs had 16 carries for 84 yards. And Jalen Reed, who I have on my bench on one of my fantasy teams, had 6 targets and 4 receptions for 138 yards. So, yeah, I think they just tried to throw more and then, finally decided to get to Josh Jacobs. But,
Yeah, you always love seeing 33 points on your bench.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I was like, really?
I also have him. So
I was like, I didn't think, the Eagles' defense has been good for how many years? I'm like, there's no way that they're going to throw the ball this good. And somehow we got away with it.
By the way, Park, did you lose to your wife week 1?
I did not. I won by 4 points.
Damn it! I'm the only one that lost.
Thanks.
I got smoked by Yvette. Everyone.
Thanks to Debo and Debo and just Debo actually, and Brock Purdy. Debo and Brock Purdy helped me out by not losing.
My only hope was Josh Allen, and he did what he needed to do. But that team was not able to go on his back. My team is not there. You know what I'm saying? London got me 4 points. I was like, dude, that's great.
Him on one of my other make some changes.
Yeah, speaking of Drake London, Parker's very familiar with this guy, but Kirk Cousins looked not like Kirk Cousins.
I heard he did not look good.
So, it's only week 1 and they got to kind of adjust. He's been out with that Achilles injury, but
He
they
did look a little
rely
confused.
they relied heavily on Bijan and Tyler Algier. So, I think that's
Oh,
kind of going to be the MO going forward, but I was kind of expecting a little bit more out of the Falcons offense.
I mean,
Yeah,
Kirk Cousins,
according to
155 yards and 1 touchdown and 2 interceptions, 16 for 26. It's a little shaky from a veteran, I think. But like you said, him coming off that injury, that's rough. That's rough.
he had 6, according to ESPN Fantasy, he had 6 points, which is not good for quarterbacks at all.
Yeah.
Cousins had 6 points?
He's on my bench. I think I might have to pick somebody else up and drop Kirk, but
Hey, I got a trade for you.
no, it's for my other league.
Damn it.
they have Fields
I
at the
don't
top
want
of
him.
that. They have Fields at the top, and Stafford's number 2. I think I'm going to go with Stafford.
Maybe.
I don't believe in that Pittsburgh offense.
Speaking of Matt Stafford, after another injury, Puka Nakua going down, that hurt my fantasy squad a little bit. But
Yeah.
Stafford,
out?
He's out for 4 weeks. So
What happened to
Was
him?
it ankle? I think, right?
he had it was a sprained MCL. I think was the diagnosis.
So similar to Jordan Love, very similar, I guess.
So that's gonna be interesting. But Stafford and Cooper Kupp looked amazing. I think Cooper Kupp had like 12 receptions.
Yeah.
So it was just
14.
wow, even more. It's like they just they were feeding them early and often. They came up a little short, but that was a pretty good game.
Oh yeah. Well, they were going pretty deep. They had good balance, I think, right? I mean, they had a lot of deep balls that were caught, but also their run game was pretty strong. I know Montgomery. Oh no, I'm
That's
thinking
Lions.
of
yeah. Kyron Williams, 18 carries for 50 yards and a touchdown.
That would make sense why I'm looking at the Lions or thinking of the Lions, because I'm really staring at their stats right now instead of the Rams.
Well, that's what's crazy is looking at that backfield for the Lions. David Montgomery, again, went to Iowa State, was a monster there, went to Chicago, did well there, and then you go to another, sort of juggernaut. The Bears' offense when he was there wasn't great, but now you're at a juggernaut offense with the Lions and Dan Campbell's your head coach with Jared Goff. It's a pretty nice place to be right now.
Well, I'll tell you what, I had Montgomery on my fantasy last year, and what was really stopping him was Gibbs. They were giving him a lot of carries, and they weren't giving it to Montgomery. It was the opposite way around. But this first game, it looks like Montgomery had 17 carries and Gibbs had 11. So it looks like they flipped that around a little bit,
Yeah, because I think I'll look back at this now before I forget.
Yeah, Gibbs is a little bit more of their speed back, so they're gonna throw him the ball a little bit more. Montgomery was just, especially end of the game and in overtime, they were just like, go win us the game.
Yeah, Montgomery's their downhill guy. So speaking of back to the fantasy, actually, I had Montgomery and she had Gibbs. So it was a back and forth. She's like, give the ball to Gibbs, and he had it for the majority of the game. And then they flipped it, gave it to Montgomery, and I think him scoring that final touchdown is what took me to victory against her. But
that would be a crazy way to end a week. You imagine?
Yeah. Well, her and I were both sitting there watching. We're like back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Yeah.
That's insane.
Not to jump ahead, but somebody that I think deserves some recognition is from the very first game of the season. Chiefs Ravens. Those are two of the best teams in the league, which turned out to be a great game.
That game was great. Yeah.
Baltimore mistying the game by a big toe, basically.
Yeah, that's
the guy that caught that ball, Isaiah Likely had himself a game.
He did. And that's what's crazy is Mark Andrews gets hurt in training camp, but nothing. Or no, he was in a car accident, but was totally fine. I don't even think they really used Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews was their juggernaut last year.
Yeah, he had 2 targets, 2 receptions for 14 yards. Isaiah Likely 9
did
for
all the work.
111. Isaiah Likely was doing his thing.
He was fiending, yeah. And I get it. Mark Andrews is older and everything, but that's, kind of a crazy situation where you go away from the veteran and give it to the second man up, and he's the one that, shows out. But
Oh yeah, Lamar did his thing too. Lamar
looked good.
He's out there slinging the ball around, running around. Look at this: 16 carries for 122 yards. Jackson had. That's just insane. That's a running back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I mean, that's insane. There's not many quarterbacks that could do that. I don't think there's any quarterback that did that in week 1, at least for over 100 yards. That's insane. He got that hit on that prize picks. You know what I'm saying? That was an easy dub. That was an easy dub there, but it looks like Baltimore's going to look like a good team again. They got some Derrick Henry. I don't think he did. Did he get injured or something?
I have him on
carries.
I have him on fantasy. He did okay.
Their offensive line stinks. I will say that.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah. He definitely got stuffed more than once.
There's a reason that Lamar Jackson's running around
running the ball.
That makes total sense. Kelsey didn't really have a huge week because I have him in fantasy as well, and he didn't do too much for me. 3 receptions, 34 yards. Come on now.
They gave the ball to Pacheco and Cheetah Jr. and Xavier Worthy. That's where they're often on Friday night. Thursday night.
I wanted to try their new beer, Garage Beer, but he keeps laying down these points, dude. I ain't gonna have no money to get some Garage Beer.
We've all talked about our. Yeah, looked good, really good.
Oh yeah. So what about the Bills next week? So we talked about week 1 quite a bit here.
I was just saying, there's one team we did talk about. There's one team we did discuss, and I'm going to take this from Pardon My Take. We did talk about the Raiders.
Oh no!
I'll let Matt take the stand on this.
That was not good, being a Raiders fan. After the strong finish last year, I figured, going to come out strong. And they pretty much did the opposite of that. They did not start very well on offense. They got a touchdown fairly early, but overall, I thought their defense played well enough. But when we needed a big stop late in the game, they just couldn't do it, And I'm not gonna say it's gonna be a long season, but it's only week 1, but they're gonna have to make some adjustments. I think I'm hoping at least that they kind of can get some of the kinks out. I don't think Gardner Minshew is a bad quarterback, but I'm going to need to see a little bit more out of him.
Seems a little indecisive,
and
especially on that. I guess that's a fumble because it was backwards, right? It was wasn't forward, but I don't know what he was trying to do. I don't know if he was trying to pump fake there to try to free someone up, where he saw a defender too close to who he was throwing to. But dude, he literally threw that straight into the ground behind him. That's the worst thing to do in that situation.
Yeah. And your defensive juggernaut, Mason Crosby, he only was 2 for 3 on tackles for attempts, and he only had 1 sack. Last year that wasn't the case. And the Raiders' defense is good, especially with Matt Crosby off the end there. And as my dad and I call him, Jim Hardballs. This is his first year, and the team's not great. But he's gonna get these guys to believe in winning football games. I kind of expected the Raiders to actually win that one. But, I mean, Herbert was
Chargers.
17 for 26, 144 with 1 touchdown.
Chargers are a weird
and they
team.
gave the ball to J.K. Dobbins. They are. I mean, they lost Eckler. They lost Allen.
Oh.
They lost Mike Williams. They were Gerald Everett. Josh Palmer's the only one that's still there.
I'm looking at their receiving. It's not good. Their
No,
highest
that's-
receiver is 40 or 39 yards.
Yeah.
That's-
They just handed the ball off to J.K. Dobbins and Gus Edwards, which is unheard of for where they were before with all the receiving power that they got rid of.
Yeah, it was kind of the vintage Jim Harbaugh, just kind of run the ball until you can't take it anymore. But
Right.
touching on
Yeah.
touching on Max Crosby, I will give credit to a lot of people gave them kind of a hard time for their first round draft pick being a right tackle Joe Alt from Notre Dame, but he impressed me. Watching that game, I was like, a little biased, but Max Crosby is one of the best defensive ends in the league, and
Oh yeah, by far.
like you said, he kind of had a quiet game for his standards, and I think that was mostly kind of due to Joe Alt was kind of holding them down pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I'll definitely give him kudos for that.
Max Crosby definitely had one X in his name that game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
But I think that they got I don't know. The Raiders, I think they have a little bit of I think all of a sudden they'll hit like a little push. I think it'll be a little too late for them. But Minshew just has to come around. He's got to be confident in the pocket, and he's got to if he feels that pressure, he's got to escape. He's got to get out. So he's not going to be the guy that's going to sit in the pocket because, to be honest with you, I don't think the offensive line is good enough for him to just chill in the pocket.
No,
He's not going to have all the time in the world. So he's just got to know when to get out and throw it away. I mean, honestly.
And I think he's a step up from Aiden O'Connell even. More. I think he's more mobile and can actually throw the ball. But like you said, that offensive line's not great. So, they got to.
It's not the worst. It's not great.
That's not the word. Yeah. And Damian Pierce is a good coach. From what we saw last year when he came in, he's done a great job. He continues to do a great job. So I think they'll figure some things out.
Yeah, that's for sure. Do you guys have anything else you want to touch on for week 1?
I do, and this will kind of kick off the week 2 talk.
Cool.
But there's one game. There's a couple games, but one specifically that I think a lot of people have been kind of looking forward to all off season, and I'm not really sure it's going to be all that great after what I saw in week 1. But the Cincinnati Bengals are going into Arrowhead to face Patrick Mahomes.
Yeah, I didn't catch any of the Bengals game, but I heard Joe Burrow
not good.
Wasn't good.
He's just not being dominant like he was, man. I mean, he's just struggling. See, the thing is like he's not playing at the expectation he should be playing. Is he playing horrible? Maybe not horrible, right? But he's not playing where he should be, where for how much money he's getting paid and how much he should have the team on his back. He's not playing up to those standards at all.
Yeah.
As my wife said, he just broke up with his girlfriend, so she thought he was going to go off, and it was quite the opposite. 21 for 29, 164, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and he was sacked 3 times.
Yeah, that's an issue.
And yeah, their offense looks. None of these stats look good at all.
I mean, I think there's a
couple. They don't have T. Higgins.
T.
Higgins is still injured too.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like he scrambled away 4 times as well for only 15 yards, but I feel like he is a quarterback that shouldn't be scrambling away or running at all. I feel
because I thought their offensive line is good, but I don't know.
Yeah,
so they're gonna have to figure it out quick. They got a tough test this week.
Yeah.
Who are they playing in week 2?
It's the Kansas City. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So that's kind of all off season. Everybody circled that game.
Mm-hmm.
I think Joe Burrow is the only quarterback with a winning record against Patrick Mahomes. For playing, I think it's 3 or more times. I think he's the only
times against division championships and stuff. Yeah.
At least he's the only one that's really had much success against them. They tried to call it, Burrowhead. And that didn't really work out. That didn't really work out too well for them. So
no, it did not.
It seems like Burrow is kind of like one of those people that plays up to what he is being played against for example. He's facing Mahomes. He's going to show you what's up. You know what I mean? He's going to come out there and he's going to play Mahomes level football. But if he's playing against someone like the Patriots, I feel like he kind of takes it a little more relaxed, maybe. I don't know. I mean, that's kind of just an assumption. But week 2 seems to be pretty interesting on who's playing who. Should be kind of fun. Commanders versus Giants. It should be an interesting game. Jags and Browns, that should be another one. And obviously the Bills Dolphins is going to be.
So we got you and Ollie in the juggernaut match on Thursday night.
Oh, it's going to be game on. He's already been texting me smack, and I told him that a Dolphin would die against a Buffalo. So,
is it in Buffalo or is it at Miami?
It's Miami.
Yeah, it's in Miami, so it's not going to be an easy game for the Bills.
No,
but
that's going to be a tough.
Allen's going to come out. Allen's going to come out. He's going to ball out. I believe in him. I think it's going to be a close game. It's going to come down to the the Bills defense. I think is going to be the biggest change. If they're playing well, I think they'll win. I don't think the Bills are going to have a problem with their the Dolphins defense too much. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a close game. But who do you guys have?
That's a tough call. I'm looking at the DraftKings Sportsbook right now, and they got the spread at 2.5. So they're expecting it to be a close game. One thing I'll say is Miami is, for whatever reason, with Mike McDaniel as their coach, I think they're like 7-1 in September games. So they kind of start off hot. But if you remember last year, they played each other. I think it was like week 3, and the Bills beat the brakes off of them. So
and David Achane is injured, so
Mostert as well.
Says ankle. Yeah, David Achane ankle did not practice on Monday.
That's going to be important. Everybody knows Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, but if they can't run the ball, then a one-dimensional offense is going to be tough for any team.
Right. And Tyreek has a pretty hot start as well. Hot in the public as far as getting thrown on the ground, and hot in the first game in week 1. So it's going to be interesting for sure.
I'm as you know, I'm also a part Josh Allen fan, so I'm going to take the Bills in this one, but I think it's going to be a really close game.
Yeah, I don't think it's not clear cut. That's for sure.
No, that's exactly. If it's going to be 2.5 spread wise, everyone thinks it's going to be a close game.
Yeah, I think might also lean Bills as well.
Yeah, Bills for sure. You already know which way I'm going. I don't even have to say that. So Bills, boy. What could be an interesting game, and hear me out on this, is the Saints and Cowboys. I feel like obviously Cowboys have an advantage, I think, for sure. And if I was a betting man, I'm probably betting on the Cowboys. But Carr's performance was pretty good. I know who did they play. It wasn't a good team.
Carolina. Nothing special. Yeah, it was
Carolina.
No special opponent or anything,
but I feel like they had a pretty good offensive flow. Wasn't too crazy, but I do think Dak is probably going to pick apart the defense a little bit.
Unless Myles Garrett somehow gets lucky,
Yeah, exactly.
But and I think Deshaun is, I don't know. But Jerome Ford, I have him on fantasy. He looked good. Njoku looked okay. So I think if Deshaun can somehow figure it out, but also with Micah Parsons coming off the end, I think Deshaun's going to have a tough day at the office on Sunday.
Yeah, definitely. But there's another interesting team is the Steelers. Now, they're facing the Broncos in week 2.
And Bo Nix did not. We forgot about that game.
Yeah.
Was it the Broncos that got 2 safeties or Seattle?
I think Broncos did.
The Broncos defense got 2 safeties against Seattle?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I do have to say, I would start Wilson. Just saying. I feel like he has something to prove against maybe not necessarily to prove. I feel like they never really liked each other anyways. But
No, and he still did. You know, I was a Russell Wilson fan who's at Seattle, and then he's been downhill from there. But I know he's still dealing some sort of calf issue, even though he was fully dressed for the game on Sunday. So
dude,
I think everyone's
ruled
questions
out.
are what is going on there. You know, we
This
all know
man was ruled out.
Mike Tomlin's never had a losing season, and this is probably the first time he's had two QB situations. So I think Russell Wilson, the situation he was in Denver was just not good for anybody. I think him and Mike Tomlin, I think, get along well, and I think Mike Tomlin can actually get him to play to his that he did in Seattle. So I agree. I think you start Russell. You know, you give that offense some firepower, and then you let T.J. Watt do what he did to Kirk Cousins on Sunday, and do it to who are they playing? Sorry, I get lost track. To Bo Nix. You let T.J. Watt do his thing to Bo Nix, and I think the Steelers might come out of that one.
Yeah, I mean, I would probably go Steelers. But it's Russell Wilson was fully ready to go play some kids at a park or something on Sunday. Ruled out. Man is not playing the game, dude. I don't know who told him to put full pads on, but he was ready to rock, dude.
Well,
He was to rock someone. It was a fan or not, he was ready.
Like Kirk Cousins when he put the helmet on, whatever game that was, and he's on the sidelines. Yeah. Kirk Cousins had his full helmet on, wasn't playing, but he was ready to go if they needed him. So I guess Russell Wilson was the same way. He's like, I'm fully dressed. You need me to play, and I'll go in. But
Raiders, Ravens. What you got, Matt?
Ravens by 1 million. I think the spread's 9.5 in that game. I fully expect them to cover that after what I saw last week. Yeah. I don't see that being unless something drastic happens, they're really gonna have to shut down Lamar Jackson. So
right. Well, I think it's time in this podcast here that we have maybe Matt, you got some picks for us maybe this upcoming week? Anything hot yet? I know some of the picks will probably drop tomorrow, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of game lines I'm looking at here. Big on player props, but those usually drop a little later in the week as they come out. But one game that I just keep looking back at is Detroit and Tampa Bay. I'm really liking this. It's over under set at 51.5. I personally see that going over based off of what I saw from both teams this last week. And that's a rematch of a divisional playoff game. And I don't have the score pulled up, but that was a great game, so after what both teams showed us, I think that over in 51.5. I don't know what everybody's book has it at. I'm looking at DraftKings, but 51.5 for that game seems like a pretty good over for me.
So I just pulled it up. Lions 31, Buccaneers 23, and that was January 21st of 2024.
There you go.
I mean, they're going to be coming out hot. They both made adjustments that they needed to in the offseason, and they both produced. So I think Evans and Mayfield will be ready to go against the Lions, especially because the Lions got a little bit of best of both worlds. You know what I'm saying? Run and throwing. So they don't got a bad quarterback, and they got some good running. So it should be really good. I'm actually excited to watch that game. That's Sunday at 12 for you guys.
I'm looking at the Vikings Niners -6 for the Niners, and then it's 45.5. I think that one could go either way. I don't know. I'm skeptical on if the Vikings are going to win that one.
I think I got Niners on that one.
I unfortunately do too. As a homer though, I want the Vikings to win, but I just watching the Niners on Sunday. I think exactly, and I don't think the Vikings defense is good, but I don't think they're that good to stop the offense. But we'll see. I could be told, but Hitman Harrison Smith, might do something crazy.
Here's another interesting one that I'm looking at. We haven't really touched much on, but the Rams are going to Arizona this week, playing at the Cardinals, and the Rams are actually underdogs. They're plus 102 for the money line there.
Really?
I think I might be smashing the Rams on that game. The Cardinals, they showed something, but the Rams are a good team, even without Puka Nacua. Kyron Williams, Cooper Kupp, Stafford can get it done. I think the Rams at plus money, plus 102. Nice little double, up. Nice little double up for you.
Yeah, I 100% agree on that. I'm not really sure why the line is that, to be honest with you.
It's a divisional game. Those are typically close. The spread's plus 1.5, so they're expecting a closer game. But I think I'm going to put my trust in Sean McVay and the boys to take care of that one.
The other one I keep looking at. I mean, I think we've touched on all the big ones. Dolphins, Bills, Vikings, 49ers, Bucks, Lions, and I think the Bears and Texans actually might be if Caleb Williams can show up. I think that one actually might be interesting too.
Are we being too harsh on Caleb Williams? I feel like
it's week one. I'm not as harsh. I didn't get to see much of it. I heard it wasn't. The defense basically won them that game, but it's week one. You got to give them a chance. So that's why I'm saying that it's week 2 against Texans. I don't know how good the Texans defense is. I mean, I know they made it to the division, or they made the playoffs last year, but that Bears offense is good, and so I think there could be a turnaround for Caleb Williams to revamp, rethink things and get on a better page for Sunday. And they're the Sunday night game. I just looked at that. They're at 7:20.
Oh yeah, they are. Yeah.
So I think that'll be a good Sunday night game. I think that'll be a good test for Caleb Williams too.
Oh yeah, I think so too.
That should be a great game.
We're gonna do something a little fun. I think we're gonna start wrapping up this podcast here. I'm gonna say off the games. You guys give me your pick right off the top of the head. We'll see how this goes. You guys ready?
Yeah.
Ready for this rapid fire? All right. We're going to start with Bills, Dolphins. Who you got?
Bills.
Niners, Vikings.
Niners.
I'll be a homer. I'll say Vikings. I'll change it up.
I was going to say, you can't do that to yourself. Seahawks, Patriots. Who you got?
Seahawks.
Yeah, I'd probably get the same. So far, I'm pretty on par with you guys. Giants, Commanders. You pick Captain Danny right now.
I will also take the
Commanders. Danny Dimes will never be picked unless he shows some sort of drastic change.
He's going to have to start paying off some fans to get them back at this point. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Chargers, Panthers.
Chargers.
All right. I have a theory, dude. What if you just put $10 on the Panthers on every game to win? You're bound to win.
Yeah. I'm sure there's someone out there that has done that or thought about it. A Panthers fan. A Panthers fan has done that.
Dude, what are the odds on that, Matt? You got odds up?
The plus 225 on the money line. So that's 3x your payout.
I know Steph Curry has been known to show up to home Panther games and bang the drum. So maybe he's secretly putting money on him to win each.
Maybe they should put him out there. He can throw
they should put Steph Curry out there.
Pretty far. So he could probably throw a football pretty good distance.
I think so.
All right, next game here: Saints, Cowboys.
Even though I hate the Cowboys, I'm going with the Cowboys.
I also got the Cowboys.
Colts, Packers.
Colts.
Ooh.
As a Vikings fan, I don't believe in the Packers at all. I don't believe in Jordan Love, but they do. But
I'm gonna take Packers on that one, to be honest with you.
I think
they don't have Jordan Love. Never mind.
And the Colts have Anthony Richardson. They have Jonathan Taylor, Michael Pittman. I'm taking the Colts.
Well,
yeah, I think the Colts are going to take that one. I just don't trust Malik Willis.
Yeah, no, not at all. I totally
especially what he did, especially when he was at Tennessee, it wasn't good there either.
Yeah.
So,
Browns, Jaguars.
I'm gonna go with the Jags. Browns have a great defense. Deshaun Watson's terrible.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
I'm going with
100%
Mr.
agree.
Sunshine. I'm going with Mr. Sunshine and the Jaguars.
Oh yeah, Jets, Titans.
Jets.
I'm
I'm
gonna
taking
take the
Jets just
Jets.
because of defense.
Yeah,
I
I didn't see anything positive from the Titans either.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers, he can still sling the ball. I'm not really too worried about him as much, and the defense is good.
Their offense is good, and so is their team is good. They ran into a bigger juggernaut in the minor.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. Where was I here? Buccaneers, Lions. That's a tough one.
The only other team I believe in the NFC North, I'm taking the Lions.
I'm taking Lions, I think.
You know, as much as I want to take the Buccaneers, I just think the Lions are just too good. You know, the way they can run the ball,
I feel like
dominate
they're
time.
universal, right? Am I tripping about saying that? They're pretty universal. I feel like they have a really good throw and they have a really good run.
They have a good
I mean,
Like deep
they
threat.
just won a game, and Amon St. Brown had like 14 yards.
Yeah.
He's a non-factor.
Yeah, like I said, when you have two running backs and you can run the ball down a team's throat and not throw the ball, that's not a good thing for the other team.
Right. Yeah, no, I totally agree. Raiders, Ravens, Ravens. We'll just skip that one. Rams, Cardinals. What you guys got?
I'm smashing the Rams in this game.
I agree.
I'm taking Stafford and the Rams.
Yeah.
I think our betting guru over here is also taking the Rams in the bet card too.
Yeah.
Bet slips.
That's definitely making the card this week.
Oh yeah. Bengals, Chiefs.
Taking Chiefs Kingdom.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I don't like the Chiefs. I don't like
yeah.
quite honestly.
Unfortunately, I don't. Yeah, I like Xavier Worthy, and that's it.
I'll tell you guys the reason why I don't like Mahomes. Okay, he freaking destroys the Bills every single time, one way or another. Doesn't destroy them, but he definitely beats them every damn time. When it needs to be. Regular season's different, but playoffs he always beats them. 2, I had him in fantasy last year, dude. They already knew they were in playoffs. That man did not run. He did not throw anything deep. He was not getting tackled. It was like ridiculous how many points. I got like no points from him by the end of the season. So Mahomes, you on my shit list, man. Steelers, Broncos.
I'm gonna go with Steel City.
Yeah, I'm with Steelers too. I don't really like the Broncos, to be quite honest with you.
This is a tougher one for me. Both offenses aren't very good, but
no,
I just believe in that's the. They're not the steel curtain, but that Steelers defense is very good.
Yeah, I think that's what's going to take them over the edge. And until Bo Nix, in my opinion, Bo Nix is a certified check down merchant, and I think he showed that in week 1.
Sure.
Do the Broncos even have a defense? No,
they're not bad. Their defense
all
is
right,
bad, but
yeah,
I think I don't think it matters who's playing quarterback for the Steelers as long as they take care of the football. I think they'll win.
All right, last 2 here. This is for the Sunday night game at 7:20. I think I'm seeing this in Central Standard Time. So if you hear it, be 8:20 and 5:20. Different time zones there. But Bears, Texans.
As a CJ Stroud and Stephon Diggs fantasy owner, I'm going to take the Texans.
Yeah, I think this game would be closer than a lot of people think, just because the Bears have a great defense.
Mm-hmm.
But Texans at home, I think I'll give them the lean on that one.
I'm gonna say Bears on this one, only because I feel like Williams might have shaken off a little bit of a little bit of fear, first NFL game. Well, not necessarily, right? He took some snaps in preseason, right?
Yeah.
First official
but
game.
his first official. Yeah.
So I think he might. I don't know. Maybe he'll start slinging it a little bit more. We'll see. But I'll take Bears on it.
Alright.
Last but not least, we're gonna take or who you guys got on Falcons versus Eagles.
Oh, I'm going Philly.
Again,
I think I'm going to take Philly minus 6.5 in this game. I see them winning by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, I
yeah,
can see that too.
again, just like the Cowboys, even though I don't like them, but I'm a Dak fantasy owner. I'm an A.G. Brown fantasy owner. I'm taking the Eagles.
Cousins don't got his gold chain no more. All right, I'm taking Eagles all the way.
He ain't no Kirko chains no more.
All right, guys. I think that's where we're gonna wrap up this podcast, episode 2 of the Loaf. We talked about Week 1 NFL and some other goodies. Thank you guys. Thanks, Matt, for giving us some good choices. Hopefully, you guys go check out Cheddar Printers over on X, where you can find their link to the Discord, where they have premium and free services. And thank you to our other sponsor, Dusk Auto Supply, with the best car cleaning products on the market. They don't water down any of the products. It's thick, it's good, and it protects your paint. So go check them out. That's duskautasupply.com. Thanks, Park. I appreciate you guys all coming in tonight. And we'll try to keep on pace and maybe doing this maybe once a week to try to keep up with the NFL. Go check out all the socials. We'll link those down below. And go follow us on Spotify and YouTube, where you can find both the podcast. You can see the live version over on YouTube, and you can hear the live version over on Spotify. So thanks, guys. Have a great night, and we'll catch you all next time. Bye-bye.